Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for taking the time today to attend this webinar on hitting the target market, how to find, attract, and keep your ideal clients. I wanted to let you guys know that I always have technical difficulties when I do these webinars, so hopefully you guys will bear with me. Also on the call in this webinar today is Candace. You guys will hear Candace talking throughout the webinar and joining in. Candace is actually my marketing person that does all of my marketing for me, and she's the one that actually makes me look really awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. So what happens on these webinars is there is about 45 to 50 minutes of instruction. And you know what? Let me real quick. Actually, you guys may just have to bear with me because I forgot to turn my Outlook off. So you guys kind of bear with the dinging. I will actually mute it if I can. But what happens in these webinars is there's about 45 to 50 minutes of instructions. We try to leave about the last 10 to 15 minutes for questions. But at any time that you guys want to ask a question in your control panel, your go-to webinar control panel toward the bottom is a little area that actually says questions. You guys can put your questions right there. I may ask different things of you guys during the conversation of this webinar. If you guys want to put them in the question sections or even the chat section, then I will make sure and grab those from there. But you know what? I think what I'm going to do real quick is let me go ahead and turn off my Outlook. Give me just a second to do that. Quit. And then I will pop right back on. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're back in business. So I hope everybody sees the questions section that's there. Who is this for? I realized a long time ago that there were so many different aspects of running your own culinary business that just were not covered. And for those of you guys that went to culinary school, it certainly wasn't covered there. And then you graduate from culinary school or you decide to become a chef through lots of experience and hard knocks, or maybe you're just a culinary business owner and you make a ton of money every month selling toffee. Who knows? The thing about it is owning your own culinary business is hard. And I realized several years ago that there is not a source out there that culinary business owners can go to really learn how to do their culinary business. And we're all just a lot of times just kind of left in the dark. And so what I do with these webinars is I try to make sure that they are very relevant and timely. So in my mentor and coaching program, I really try to listen to what the chefs are asking about. And even on the Facebook group that's part of those mentor and coaching programs, the eChef Club, I try very hard to take questions that people ask over and over again, do some research on them, or maybe it's just everything that I've done wrong and finally figured out how to do right. And we create these webinars out of them. These webinars are really for the chefs and culinary business owners who are really tired of running their culinary business alone. Or maybe your business is running you and you would love to have your nights and weekends back, and you're just kind of living paycheck to paycheck and you can't really figure out how to really make a profit in your culinary business, but yet you love it so much. I know that a lot of you guys know that you should be making so much more money than what you're making, but you're working so hard and you're just pedaling so fast and you just can't figure out, if you're working this hard, how come the money's not showing up in your bank account? And you're just so tired all the time. So I certainly get that, and this is exactly who this webinar is for. So, why me? A lot of people ask that. Why am I qualified to teach you guys this or give this webinar to you guys? Well, a little bit about me. I've been a chef for about 15 years. I have right now, I'm actually working on my seventh, eighth culinary business. I currently run 3 culinary businesses. I have Savor Culinary Services, which is a company that prides itself on culinary medicine. We heal people through food. Through that, we do food intolerance testing, nutrition education, personal chef services, and boutique catering. Secondly, I have Chef Deb, which is a mentor, coaching, and consulting company for culinary business owners that want to grow their culinary business with also a concept to build out technique where we find lease space and all the fun things that go along with that. Lastly, I have a restaurant due to open here around the first of the year called Protein in a very high-end area here in the Metroplex called Southlake, and it's called Protein Fit Kitchen. And it was designed to put the flavor back into fitness food. Last year, I had a #1 best-selling book by Amazon, and it went #1 in about 8 minutes time, and it was absolutely amazing. It's called So You're a Chef Now What? You can actually see a picture of it right there on the top right of your screen. I was named Chef of the Year by the United States Personal Chef Association last year, which was such a big honor, and also received the honor last year of being named Best Chef by Fort Worth, Texas Magazine. Like I talked to you guys about the businesses, we probably need to update this slide. As far as commercial kitchens, I have owned them, rented them, built them, done just about everything I could possibly do with commercial kitchens and learned a lot along the way. At Savor, we cook for an average of about 30 clients a week and do 2 to 3 caterings a week as well. I have a staff of about 6 people, and that seems to be growing, but I certainly have learned a lot along the way of what to do, what not to do, and I have spent a ton more money than I am probably proud of to tell you guys. So, who I help. Let me tell you a little bit about that. It kind of goes along with why me. I help culinary business owners grow their culinary business. We have clients in the U.S., Canada, and from what I found out a couple of days ago, possibly in London. So that's kind of a cool feather in my hat. We really work with those chefs that are looking to grow their culinary business. They're really tired of not making the money they deserve and their business running them. They know that they have this big dream to really change the world through their food done their way. And they just need a path and a blueprint in order to do that. Chefs and other culinary business owners have amazing food concepts. I work with you guys, like I said, all over the country and in different parts of the world. And you guys just absolutely amaze me with your talent and your concepts and just your ability to be so intuitive and just stick to what you know will help the rest of the world. We really work on helping our clients build their dream from the very start to the finish. So basically, doing their food their way, the way they know that they can make money. And like I said, I have experienced my own successes and failures, as you guys can only imagine, currently running 3 culinary businesses and owning what I have owned in the past. Definitely understand the culinary industry. I still to this day cannot figure out why people have food trucks, but you know what? If that is your passion, then make it the best food truck you've ever had. I've spent thousands on, well, that's probably what should be tens of thousands on business coaching to help me turn my passions into profits. So I have definitely put my money where my mouth is and spent the money to grow these businesses and grow them well with some amazing mentors that I have along the way. Anybody that works with me knows that I care about your success. The culinary field needs more business owners that get it, that don't just throw up a website and automatically think they're going to be in business. It takes so much more than that, and I really want to change what's going on in the culinary industry as far as because there's a stigma that 99% of culinary businesses fail, and I want to change that. So let's kind of get into the meat of this. How many of you guys are attracting the wrong clients? That you just can't figure out why you keep getting the same clients over and over again. Or maybe you guys are attracting no clients at all, and all you're hearing is crickets over there at your computer, and you can't figure out why either. Well, we're going to talk about that just a little bit. Let's talk about clients who are a PIA. You guys ever heard that term before? That is called a pain in the ass. Why do you guys keep attracting, or not everybody, but why do some of you keep attracting these types of clients? Well, what about the clients who just don't last long? That you cook for them once or twice, and then you have no clue where they go. And you did everything right. And lastly, I know why. And it all has to do with your target market. And that's the main reason why we're talking about what we're going to talk about today. Through this webinar, we're going to talk about why you attract these certain pain in the butt clients and why they don't last long. Oops, let me go back. Part of the reason why they don't last long and why you keep attracting these clients is because you may not know your true target market. I work with chefs all the time whenever I say, well, who's your target market? Well, it's people that like to eat. No. Anybody that will let me apply fire to food? No. Well, anybody that will use my services? No. It doesn't work that way. When you truly understand who your target market is, you get rid of those pain in the butt clients, and you really are able to keep clients for a long period of time. So we have to talk about not only you knowing who your ideal client is, but also what you're doing in order to keep them. Let's move on. Let's define first what a target market is. And we're going to go into a little bit of detail around this. The true definition of a target market, and many of you guys on this call who are in my coaching programs, this has been drilled into your head. It is a particular group of consumers at which a particular product or service is aimed. In other words, consumers who need or want your service. But it is so much bigger than that. That's kind of like a well-duh statement. The definition of your target market is actually if you will take a look at the clients you have now, or take a look at the clients that you want, and you're going to create almost a customer avatar for them. And there's some specific questions that you're going to answer around them so you know exactly who you're looking for. So when I first started out as a chef, I thought that I should go to a women's expo type of event. It had everything there from wedding vendors to home vendors to all kinds of things. All the buying decisions that were made are often made by women. So I thought, perfect. Well, the tickets were, I don't know, $5 or $6 to get in, and absolutely no one cared that I was there. No one at all cared. So I realized then that, I better go figure out where my target market hung out. I thought that they were all women, but evidently I had my target market all wrong. And we're going to talk about profiling your current clients to really hone in on your target market. So What's included in defining a target market? And some of you guys on the call, that even though you think you know who your target market is, pay attention to some of these details, because I think you're going to find some things in here that maybe you didn't know, and new ways to market to some of these areas of your target market. So age. If you were to ask me for Savor, my personal chef and boutique catering business, what is the age? Well, if I think back of all my clients who usually buy my services are between the age of probably about 32 to probably about 55. That's just my target market. For you guys, it may be different if I look back over the years. I know right off the bat that I'm not going to market to the 20 somethings and where they hang out. And then I also know that I'm not then going to market to the people that are over 55 and where they hang out. So age plays a huge play in this. But maybe you have a niche where you work with the elderly population, so your age is going to be a little bit different. And you're not going to find your ideal target market on social media. Just like I wouldn't find my ideal target market necessarily on Snapchat, or maybe not even Twitter. My age group is going to hang out in places like Facebook and Pinterest and things like that. So, next is gender. If you really think about, like I said, who makes all the buying decisions, it's women. So, for the most part, I'm going to gear my marketing and my target market more toward women, and women in that age group that I just talked about. Now, some of you guys may be in the fitness food industry, and maybe more of your target market is geared toward men and where men hang out, what they do. Your website is going to be very manly and very masculine driven. Whereas my websites would be more toward feminine or more of a gender neutral type of experience. Marital status and parents. So, in other words, my clients not only are going to be between the ages of 35-ish and 55-ish, most of them are going to be female, most of them are going to be married, and most of them are going to have children at home. So what that tells me is that they're going to be parents, and so they're also, and we're going to get to income here in just a little bit. It also tells me that since they're going to be parents, that they're going to be heavily involved in their children's activities. So they're going to be running crazy to try to get their family fed. So one of the things that I would talk about in my marketing is, are you tired of going through drive-throughs and feeding your children drive-through food on the way to sporting events or dance class? Because you're talking specifically to the mom in the van. This is the right age, and you're also talking to something that they do all the time. Our household income is usually a combined household income, if I'm going to say, probably around 250,000. So you're going to be talking to most likely a college educated person that is used to using social media, that is used to using different marketing platforms, and that have the money to afford to go to nicer dinners and maybe hire in charity events. So you may want to check into charity events where these target markets hang out. Their purchasing behaviors. So what kind of cars do they drive? BMWs, Mercedes, Land Rovers. Do they live in a certain neighborhood that you're possibly all of your demographic is? Do they often purchase vacations where you can partner with travel agents? Do they have a maid service? So because they're super busy and can't afford it, can you possibly partner with a maid service? A maid service travel agent, higher end grocery store is going to be a better demographic than not knowing their purchasing behaviors. And then you don't really know, you're not going to then go to a travel agent if your client does not fit in this particular demographic. Geographic location. Everyone has areas in your cities and towns that has populations of people that are in your target market, and then populations of people that are not in your target market. So if you really stop and think, are there pockets where your target market is in your particular area that might have a private Facebook group for that area? Maybe they have a newsletter for that area that you can submit a recipe or maybe even a blog for free. What about it's not HomeAway, but there's an app, and I know my neighborhood association has it. That it's part of my neighborhood association that you can use this certain app, and I'm looking for it on my phone, and I don't have a clue where it is. Like I said, being techie is not my thing, but my husband's in IT, so I guess I married well. But anyways, there's certain neighborhood apps that you can use as well to gently promote your business if people ask about different food or catering, different things like that. I think you guys get the idea about geographic location. Lastly, interest in hobbies. So that may sound kind of weird, but how many of your clients either play or you think they play golf? Well, a lot of them might. But again, we're talking about the females here more so than the males that make buying decisions. So maybe there's the country club during the summer that they hang out in that you can do cooking classes at, or you can possibly get into their newsletter. I talked about traveling. Most of my clients travel to other countries. They all have passports. Certain hobbies. Maybe some of their hobbies will include, like I said, playing sports, or I can't think of certain hobbies that my clients have because all my clients are so busy they don't have time to have hobbies. But I think you guys understand what I mean here. So a real life example of that. So let me go back. We have a mom, probably about the age of 30, busy professional. She has at least one child. So most of our clients do have at least one child. Now we also have just busy single professionals too, but we're trying to take, kind of a median market segment here. They have at least one child, most likely goes to a private school. So, or they pay something for their education. So, automatically that your target market is going to hang out in their school as well. And getting involved in the school in a fundraising event, newsletter, anything like that, your target market is going to hang out there. They usually spend a lot on their home. Now, a lot is different compared to what area of the country you live in, but you know the type of homes we're talking about. Here in Texas, in Fort Worth, Texas, my clients usually live, excuse me, in a home that is probably around, I want to say, $350,000, maybe $400,000 and up for their home. So you can kind of tell what neighborhoods to go to. Their kids are usually involved in some type of select sports activity. So this is not necessarily through the Y, but this is some serious, they pay for them to be involved in some type of select sports. So what happens is you have busy mom with little kids in this great house to take care of, and now they're gone all the time in sports. So like I said before, one of the things that you can actually talk about is, are you busy running in so many different directions with sports that you don't have time to feed your family? No worries. Come home to a really great dinner where you guys can all sit around and talk about the game. Those are just kind of some ideas of the ways that we use our target market. Again, I mentioned the type of cars that they drive. A lot of our clients drive nicer cars. You can usually tell if you are in your target market when I pull up in their driveway by the type of cars they drive before I even see their house. Lastly, our target market really likes to spend money on to pamper themselves. It's a higher demographic for us. So maybe you find out what spas they hang out in, or, where they go to pamper themselves. And then you do some type of co-event with that spa. Maybe it's, food and wine pairings on a day as a customer appreciation, or where they can come meet the chef and then they also get discounts on spa treatments. These are just a couple of ideas. Um, why is it important that you need to know? Why do you need to know your target market? Well, needing to know your target market is everything. Once you really understand your target market and you niche down, and I'll explain what niching down means here in a little bit, there's an expression called the riches are in the niches. Once you truly understand your target market, it becomes so simple to find the clients that you're looking for, and also you have a pool to always pull from. So knowing your ideal target market, their behaviors, how to talk to them, where they hang out, how to market to them, will prevent you from having those clients that only use you for the first or second services. So that you guys are a great match together right off the bat. Now, I'm not saying that you will never have a pain in the butt client, because sometimes it's just hard to know until you start working with your client. But really honing in, and I've even seen some chefs that, will write out who their target market is, and even have an avatar, kind of like a Barbie doll, that they will even get so clear as to they will actually manifest it. They will actually write it out. This client is a foodie. They make this much money. They travel to these places and they appreciate what I do and what I provide, and they value that. So putting that out kind of to the universe is huge. So you have to understand, though, that even though you can do all of this work, your services are not meant for everyone. There is a right fit chef out there for every person. Whether you are selling gourmet popcorn, or you own a restaurant, you own a catering company, you own a culinary school, or a cooking class school. I work with all those people. The thing about it is you can still do everything right, but you just may not be the best fit for that particular chef. And that absolutely happens. There is nothing wrong with gently, and sometimes not so gently, firing a client. You totally have permission to do that, because what I don't want you doing is selling your soul and not opening up space for the ideal client that is out there. Knowing your target market will actually save you a great deal of time and a great deal of money. Sometimes marketing, if you do not know have a very clear understanding of your target market, then what happens is it's called a pray and spray approach is the problem. It's just like that I told you before, kind of like when I went to the home show for women. There's another chef in my group that also, a prime example of this is that he thought he wanted to do special dietary needs. So there was a very large supplement company that called him and wanted to do their monthly sales meeting for them. Well, it sounded like a great idea because they sell to doctors and higher end consumers. So, but they only wanted to pay him like $12, I think it was, for this amazing organic lunch that he had to spend hours preparing. So they had certain things that had to be in their food. Well, you would think that they would be his target market, because and then they would know his ideal target market. Well, come to find out is they never referred him because they were so cheap that their company was struggling as well, and they just wanted him to do food very cheaply and never planned on referring him. If he had taken a look at his target market to begin with, everyone in the room were men. Everyone in the room, too, were not even in a position to refer him to these doctors and these higher end clients. And they were already going cheap by wanting him to do such amazing food for such a little amount of money. That just screamed right then and there that it wasn't his target market. He was spending hours making just hours a week making just a little bit of money. When we talked about it, I said, you have got to let go of them. And he's like, it's all the money that I'm making. And I said, yes, and you're not opening the door to making any more money because you're spending all your time on these clients that do not appreciate you. So he fired them, scared him to death, but he fired them. And within the next 2 weeks, he gained 7 clients as a result that took their place. True story. So knowing your target market is huge. He wasted a lot of time. Of course, it was a learning experience on not truly knowing his target market. I personally have wasted a lot of money, and I know other chefs have as well, in giving away gift certificates to charity events and not really knowing how they're going to advertise you, if your target market was going to be in the room, if you were going to be part of a silent or a live auction. Have spent so much money in food cost, and it wasn't even worth it. Reason number 3, it allows you to create effective marketing strategies. Kind of like what I talked about before or alluded to before, is I would not necessarily find my clients on Snapchat. So I'm not going to pay to be on Snapchat. My target market happens to use Facebook though. So we do Facebook ads. It's worked really well. The other thing is if you're going to an area, kind of like the country club, there are some nicer country clubs and there are some less nice country clubs. You're thinking country club, they must have a ton of money. Yes, but are they willing to spend it? So whenever you truly understand where your clients hang out, what their lifestyle choices are, and who they are, it allows you to very effectively market toward them. Even if you take a look at your clients, we're going to talk about profiling your clients here in just a little bit. I'm going to kind of show you how to do that, and it can be actually really helpful. How do you know who your target market is? Well, when you know what problem your service solves, then you know exactly who these clients are. Let me kind of bring this together for you. One of the things that I hear a lot of chefs do when they're trying to sell their services is they often tell them about the process, how the service works, everything they're going to do to fix their problem, but they never address their problems as a whole. So you will see a lot of time, and a prime example of this is like Blue Apron or HelloFresh. You will see in a lot of these food marketing campaigns that are done is that they use words that specifically hit their target market. So I wouldn't necessarily, for Savor, use words like recovery food from the gym. I wouldn't necessarily use words like what you would do for an elderly population that allows you to stay at home and live independently. Instead, my words for Savor are things like stop feeling guilty going through the drive-through. Stop feeling guilty wasting money. We've and I don't like to use it's your what's for dinner solution, but we use things like tired of struggling over what to feed your family. These are all the things that my target market has told me that they want to hear that they want this service to solve. My other thing is my clients have special dietary needs. So maybe it is something like that we've used before is to put the flavor back into your food. Why struggle through the holidays just because you have a special dietary need? These are all real struggles of our clients. So once we know what problem our clients have, then we use that as a reverse marketing technique to market to those clients. Maybe your clients have told you if you own a cooking school, maybe for like the general population, maybe they've come to you and said, my mom never taught me how to cook. I just want to eat healthier, and I'm hoping I can take some classes here that will help me. So your reverse marketing in that is going to say something like, always wanted to learn how to cook? Did your mom never teach you how? Are you tired of putting ketchup on everything? Do you not even know how to boil water? Or maybe it's how to get a date with food for guys. So kind of cool. But you guys can kind of understand. Take what you hear all the time that your clients tell you and, oh my gosh, we're so grateful for your service because fill in the blank. Whatever your client would fill in the blank with is exactly the words you need to be using to market to clients to find more clients just like them. So I'm going to let Candace talk about these next few slides that we've got, and I will remember to talk about how to really analyze your client so that you can obtain some more clients just like them. So Candace, are you there?
Yeah, hi everyone. It's great to be on the call. So I'm talking about kind of the nitty-gritty part of this. But like Deb said, once you figure out what problems your service solves, you can find people who have those problems. Like for us, the busy professionals, the moms, um, athletes, those who just don't have a lot of time on their hands to cook. For us, that's kind of who it is. But there's some specific ways you can obtain data, and don't let the word data kind of scare you. I know it sounds scary, makes you sound like you have to do a bunch of research, but it's really just finding information about the people who would want your services. Go ahead and go to the next slide.
Okay.
So there are three simple ways. The first way is use the data you have now. I'm sure all of you guys have customers. Find that one ideal customer who has been with you for months. You know, they've been your ideal customer. They've been, giving referrals out, and they've been positive in every way. Find that ideal customer, and then find others like it who you have in your customer pool, and see what are the similarities. Do they all hire a nanny, a housemaid, like Deb had said? Do they all have children? Do they live in a certain neighborhood? What characteristics do they have in common? Because when you can kind of look at that, you will be able to build that customer avatar that we've been talking about, because then you can see, okay, these are the type of people who I'm helping solve their problems, and they stick with me for a long time. So that is definitely a great way to get some data, is just from your own customer pool. And the next way is surveys. Surveys are great. I feel like as business owners, we maybe don't utilize them as much as we should, but you can actually use SurveyMonkey. If you go on surveymonkey.com, you can create free surveys that are up to, I think, to 10 questions. I use these all the time in our email marketing, and they give you the results, so it's really great. But you can put out a survey. Let's say you're launching a new product or service, and you want to just see, if people are interested in it. You can put out a survey on social media, your email list, maybe send it to close friends and family, and make sure you capture demographic information like their age, gender, nothing too personal. Maybe people wouldn't want to give their income level on a survey, but some basic stuff that could give you some information and some feedback to kind of help you know what they'd be interested in. And then next are focus groups. And I love focus groups because they're basically glorified surveys. You're able to kind of get more information, more detailed feedback, and kind of, get into people's brains about it. And focus groups basically are just gathering kind of like a little cross section of your target market. So maybe people who you think would be your ideal customer. You'd kind of gather them in a room, ask them some questions. Maybe, would you buy this service at what price point? What would motivate you to buy it? Things like that. You can kind of ask them, and that provides a lot of insight. So these are all really great ways to get some data that you might not already have. And then another way that you can kind of find your target market is to use existing data. There's actually a lot of information on the internet that you can find to kind of help you define your audience a little bit better if you're kind of new in business and you're not quite sure who it is. So the first way to do that is to research your competition. And Deborah, if you want to go to the next slide. So I love to do this. I love to creep on other businesses. When I'm putting together my marketing plans for Deb, I will research other personal chef companies that kind of do what we do. I'll go on their websites, see what wording they're using, seeing what imagery. I try and get a grasp on who they are trying to attract and how they're doing it. So this actually provides a lot of insight because you're able to see, like, okay, what kind of people are going on their website. Something that I like to do that's really easy that you guys can do today is to go on Instagram. If your target audience is on Instagram, ours happens to be. What I do is I follow other businesses like ours, other personal chef companies, and people who like their image, I'll click on the people who like it, and I'll go and kind of look at the people. I'll go kind of scour their profiles, and I'll either like their photo if I think they look like a person who's a little bit more high-end to kind of grab their attention, but really it's kind of some market research for me. I'm able to see, okay, who are they? Mostly women clicking on this? Are they into fitness? Do they follow a bunch of yoga studios too? So your competition can actually reveal a lot about your target market as well. And then the second way is you can find things online, and it's pretty open-ended. In a few slides coming up, I'm going to talk about some websites you can go on. But something, if you're going online to find data, come up with some questions before you do it. Like maybe you want to find out what websites they visit a lot, what social media things they use. Come up with some questions ahead of time. You can kind of know. Something online that's really great, and Deb, if you want to go to the next slide, it's Google Analytics. Google Analytics, surprisingly, can be great for target market research. Basically, if this just links up to your website, hopefully everyone has it all connected to their site, but if you go under Audience and then Overview under Demographics, you can actually find a lot of information, and you have to actually enable this feature. It's really easy. You just click a button that hits Enable, and it starts gathering data. And so here you can see that we have mostly 25 to 34-year-olds visiting our site, and over 70% of them are female. So that's really good to know. It's good to know that females are the main purchasers, what age group they're in. So that's great. And then another thing, I want to go to the next slide, is it can tell us what their interests are.
Tell them real quick how to get signed up with Google Analytics or where to find it, because not everybody knows.
So you can actually just Google Analytics, believe it or not. And if you have a Google account, then you can just, create one if you don't. But you basically just sign up, get it all set up. It walks you through it kind of step by step. So it's pretty simple. If you have a web person, hopefully they've already set this up for you. But yeah, you can just go to Google Analytics and set up an account that way. Pretty simple. So some more information you can find is their interest, like we mentioned. That's actually really important to know because it might help you be guided with your blog posts, maybe some content you put out there that might be some good leads, list building things. So from here we can kind of see that, they really like movies, they love traveling, they love celebrity news, entertainment news, the cooking enthusiasts, TV lovers. So that's all really good information to know that you can just get from Google Analytics. And then the next slide kind of goes into more detail. kind of names our top 10, I guess, that people visit. Travel seems to be a top one for us, real estate, women's apparel. Okay, so they're really into fashion. That's good to know. Education, home decor. So these are all really great things to know that'll just help you with your content and help you kind of define your audience a little bit better. Some other online resources, if you are wanting to get, some more information about your industry in general, kind of the market share, where you're placed in your city and state, go to AmericanFactFinder.com. You can go to the Economic Census. You can even go to your local Chamber of Commerce, and they can give you information about your city specifically. Isn't that awesome? And also there's the state data centers. These can all be found online, and you can just go, and it has a plethora of information on all sorts of stuff. So that might be a great place to start too. And then just an example recently, this is kind of an example of setting competition and how that can kind of help us with our target market. So when HelloFresh and Blue Apron kind of just blew up the food industry, and I'm sure all of you guys have heard of someone at least using it. Well, we kind of were thinking, how can we use this to our advantage? How can we still keep our target market? And we noticed they were using the word like meal delivery, prepared meals. And so we were kind of missing that because we were mostly putting personal chef on our website and using, personal chef services a lot. But then we decided, you know what, let's use those same keywords because we kind of have the same target market who's interested in getting help with dinner. So we started to kind of change up the copy on our website to reflect that. Prepared meals, we kind of incorporated that more, like delivery. And you know what, our website visits have increased. People are definitely searching for that. We use it for Google AdWords, those keywords, meal delivery, and we get great results from it. So this just goes to show that when you do your research and study your competition, it can actually bring you more business.
One of the things that I wanted to say is Candace kind of gave you guys the kind of the back end version. One of the things that a mentor I was working with a while back ago, many years ago, said to me is take your top 5 clients that you currently have or had, either way, just take those 5 clients and a whiteboard or a spreadsheet. I can't stand spreadsheets, but for those of you guys that love spreadsheets, use a spreadsheet and profile them. So, excuse me, write their names at the top of the board or paper or whatever you have. Write down everything you know about those clients. Who they are, their names, how many children they have, what their dogs were, if they had pets, if they traveled, if their kids were in sports, where they went to school, where they hung out, what their hobbies were, what kind of cars they drive, what neighborhood they lived in, how much money you think they had, what their favorite foods were. Seriously, anything that you can possibly get out of your head about these clients, do it. And do it for each of those clients. Then go back and circle anything that those 5 clients had in common. Maybe they all have children. Maybe you acquired them all from a certain country club. Maybe you acquired them all from one referral source from a friend. Maybe they all liked Italian food. Whatever that is, you can very easily, that's what I was talking about, profiling your client. If you want more clients just like them, then find the similarities in that client group and use that as your target market to really hone in and talk to those people that only like Italian food if you want to do Italian. Maybe to put your marketing dollars into the country club where you found them all in. Maybe they are all moms that hung out at a certain yoga studio. You know that you want more clients like that that hang out in certain areas and do certain things. So That's one of the ways how you attract your. Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about profiling your client. We need to move into how do you attract your target market. Strategy one, you're going to create a value proposition. And Candace, this is one that you're going to chime in on, right?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. So we'll kind of talk about the definition of a value proposition, what it is. Maybe some of you have heard of it. But this was just an example of a value proposition MacBook. I don't know if we have any MacBook users.
I
I know Deb loves it. Yes, well, their value proposition is really simple. It's light years ahead. And basically, in that, succinct sentence, they're saying that our technology is way advanced beyond others. So that's kind of their promise to their customers that we're going to give you the latest and greatest technology.
okay.
And if you go to the next slide, I kind of explain more what a value proposition is. It's basically, like I said, it's just promising to deliver something. So it's the reason why someone should buy from you. One of, I guess, Saber's value proposition, if you want to go to the next slide,
Cool.
ours is healing people through food. And we certainly don't promise to heal people, but it's something that we've done in the past. We've helped people reduce cancer treatments, things like that. But we always promise fresh, whole food ingredients. We always promise to deliver it as they requested it. Our clients have very specific dietary needs, so we promise to, never give them dairy if they're lactose intolerant. Another thing is we promise that we'll fit seamlessly into their lives. So usually we'll have, the key to their kitchen and we'll go and put the food in the fridge and make sure that we are out of their way and that they get the food they need without any interruptions. That's kind of what we promise to our customers, and it's the reason why they do buy from us.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was done with that thought.
Okay. So, guys, I want to encourage you. I see a couple people asking questions. We're going to go over those in just a little bit. Make sure you type them in the box. I see a couple of people that are typing questions there. So as we go along, please remember to type your questions there. And I see several of you guys on the call. So, hi, Andrea. I'm glad that you were able to make it. And Francesco was on the call, and Jose and Doris. Wow, a lot of you guys are on the call. Thank you so much for coming. Um, I'm going to use you guys as examples probably here in just a little bit. So, um, find out what sources they use. Let me see what's on the other side of this. Okay. Find out what sources they use. Candace can probably help me with some of this too, but you guys, digital marketing for our clients is huge, but there's no point in doing it unless you understand who you're marketing to. So, like I said before, a lot of my people are going to hang out on Pinterest and on Facebook and Instagram, because what we do a lot of times as chefs is very pretty. And people eat with their eyes first. So you want to find out where they're hanging out, but what sources that they are using so that you can make sure and put your time and your money into that. Candace, is there anything else you wanted to say about that slide?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Something kind of interesting. I said that I saw Francesco on the call. Francesco owns Casetta Catering in Houston, Texas, and we were talking about it the other day because he had a great opportunity. And I think several of you guys may have these types of places, but they are high-rise apartment complexes for more affluent, either single people or families or even retired people, and they had a great idea to bring him in, work with the staff there to create kind of a tasting experience of his food as a customer appreciation for the families that were there, but also kind of introduce them to Francesco as well as being kind of the chef, and it added an extra benefit, or it kind of elevated that set of apartments because they had their own chef that the clients could go to as a concierge service. So it was kind of cool. Um, are they using or reading certain? I'm going to kind of click through these real quick and then we'll kind of cover them. I want to keep us on time. So, are they using or are they reading? Are you finding these guys in certain forums? So, maybe, like I talked about, my neighborhood association has a certain app. That's a forum where they share information on, the best lawn service. We talked about different Facebook groups, such as, because some of you guys are on the Facebook group, I Am a Personal Chef. I happen to be on different chef groups, Women Chefs and Restaurateurs. I'm actually on Fort Worth Chefs. I mean, different things like that. So, and for me, that's where my coaching clients hang out. But what about your personal chef clients? Maybe they're on certain car Facebook groups. Maybe they are on a certain like golf course Facebook group. Kind of think through that. What magazines do they read? Could you possibly put a recipe in a magazine or do a blog post in one of their magazines or even online? I know we do that for Fort Worth Magazine here and Indulge and different higher end magazines where our target market hang out. I even do advertising in those magazines, and I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. I only advertise and pay for advertising if there's also an editorial written on me as well. So that works like a charm every time. Are there certain bloggers in your area that have a huge following? And maybe you can offer them a small personal chef service, a small catered event, a cooking class, whatever it is that you do in exchange for them writing about it to their particular audience. Newspapers work a lot like magazines. Newspapers are dying just a little bit, but there's Fort Worth Business Press here that I get published in quite a bit. Know about their products and services that they're buying. We talked about the spas and them pampering themselves, and are they going to batting cages? And then there's all kinds of other resources too. Strategy 2 is creating an ideal customer profile. We kind of talked about that, and Candace alluded to that too, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. But profiling your ideal client is huge. I had mentioned briefly about your target market and really niching it down. So my niche kind of worked like this in that I found out that the certain income, the cars they drive, the children that they have, and the families, the places that they live, I niched it down even further in that I wanted to niche down into families that have at least one child with some type of special dietary need. So I niched it down, and then sometimes we even niche it down to work with a family member that has a special dietary need, but children also with food intolerances that might actually be on the autism spectrum. So you guys can kind of see how you can niche it down. Maybe if you want to work with athletes that have families and your target market is the guy that is an athlete that only does paleo or CrossFit, or the moms that are triathletes. There's all kinds of ways to kind of niche it down. I hope that makes sense. So again, riches are in the niches, and you will be so surprised at how your bottom line will increase once you really learn to niche. Strategy 3 is the right messaging. What words will attract your audience? Well, we actually talked about some of those before, and especially using like Blue Apron is. I know one of the things we said is you don't have to wear an apron in order to enjoy our food. Find out what words your clients are telling you. They've said, "Oh my gosh, this is the freshest tasting food ever." Maybe they want family style. They want to be able to sit around the table again. Maybe your area is very big into seasonal ingredients or farm to table ingredients. Maybe it's Whole Foods. Has your client said to you that we're really looking for someone that will do whole food nutrition, or we only eat according to a paleo lifestyle? Or maybe they've said you've really found a niche in organic foods. Maybe it's non GMO, maybe it's all natural. Watch what your competition is using that shares the same demographic you do, and then think back on what your past clients have told you of why they like it, why they like you cooking for them so much. Um, Digital marketing and paid research. Um, like I said, I alluded to the traditional advertising that we do. This is just a particular magazine that I was in. They featured me in it. We wrote a blog in this one. Traditional advertising, I am not encouraging you to do a print ad in a magazine unless there is also an editorial written about you or you get to contribute in some form or fashion. This is a zip code in my area where I have a lot of clients. They already know me there. So I wanted to be in front of them even more in a magazine that they know that I know they're going to read, and that looks like a plate of something that I would serve. So it was an ideal situation for me. We do a lot of community events where our target market hang out. I do charity events where I am on stage with a live auction item, and it's usually around $100 per ticket. I know my target market is going to be there. You guys can actually see like a little fishbowl to the left of the eat sign. I gave away a small personal chef service in order to collect names of the people that everyone in the room was my target market. I then did I then emailed them afterwards telling them thank you for coming and offered them my services. Sometimes it's a coupon. How do you keep your ideal clients? Always deliver on what you promise. Delivery is so huge. It goes without saying. But you also have to follow up with your clients. Ask them how the service is going. Send them with their reheating instructions. Leave them something to fill out. If you really want to know about your clients, get involved with them. Show them that you care. Because clients get so busy that they will actually forget to give you feedback, and then they get really pissed off because they were upset about something that you knew absolutely nothing about. You guys know that people buy from people. Being personable is huge. We talked about doing a blog. Most periodicals, magazines, newspapers love, love, love when you contribute, especially if they don't have to pay for it. It brings a lot of credibility to you. I was in Bon Appetit in the Fort Worth, the section of the Fort Worth magazine, and it was huge. I mean, the picture there, if you could see all of it, was just absolutely amazing. And vegan is very big right now. So we did something on how to make a delicious vegan cheesecake. Connected them on social media, which we've talked about. Email marketing is absolutely huge. You do not have to get complicated with email marketing. If you collect names for an event because you've been somewhere and you've offered them something, send them a simple follow up email. Thank them for coming. Send them an additional recipe. Email them again and tell them a little bit about yourself. Email them again and offer them a free dessert or an extra meal for trying your services. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just stay in front of them because you've worked very hard to figure out who your target market is, who your demographic is, and then to capture their information. Social proof is absolutely huge. You want to show up on social media, and you want to show up in advertising with the various newspapers and magazines about other clients that have used your services and absolutely loved it. This goes without saying to offer absolutely amazing support to your clients. Prize reciprocity. Um, I think what we mean by this, and Candace and I work on these slides together, is give your clients gifts. Show them that you're grateful. All of these will help you keep these clients. We give our clients a gift probably about every other week. It could be something as simple as fruit. It could be a dessert. Um, Loyalty programs, Starbucks is great at this on creating loyalty programs. But I've seen other chefs do this as well. If they, after the third or fourth service, then give them a gift certificate for a free meal that they can possibly give to other clients. I mean, to some of their friends. So just a little bit of a wrap up. You can find your target market by understanding your product and service, researching and studying your competition, profile your clients. Do it very easily. Get out a whiteboard. Candace talked about surveys and focus groups and getting feedback from that. Define your value proposition. Know what you do. Know your why people should buy from you. Create a customer profile. It goes back to profiling these clients. What messaging, what words have people told you before in the past? And you guys hang in there with me a little bit because I want to answer just a few of these questions. Digital marketing and traditional marketing, we talked about that. And show up everywhere your clients are. If you don't play golf and that's where your clients are, learn to play golf. It's part of it. You can keep your target market clients by delivering, educating, setting up a loyalty program, amazing customer support, social proof, and connect with them on social media. A lot of you guys have always asked me on these webinars how to take this further, because a lot of you guys ask about these coaching programs also that I keep talking about. One of the ways is actually through eChef Club. eChef Club, and we're about to get to the questions, so you guys hang on just a little bit with me. eChef Club was created as a very low-cost investment that you can cancel at any time for culinary business owners. Not only, you're not alone anymore. You don't have to struggle with your problems. It's something that's very easily affordable. But on top of it is you are with other chefs that are in the same boat that you're in. And not only are you part of you get a monthly happy hour Q&A call with, and you get that recording as well. So if you can't make the call, and you get to learn from other chefs all over the country. We just did an expert interview before this call with somebody that's really made it in the culinary profession. You get to learn from those guys as well. You have a private Facebook forum that is so safe that you can ask any questions that you need to ask in there. In this Facebook forum, it's so cool to go in there and see chefs helping other chefs grow their business. You get daily tips and inspirations in your inbox every day. Some of them have worksheets. We even have a menu planning co-op as well. If you need help with menu planning, and you get access to all the recordings. So if you can't make the calls, they're there for you to go in and listen to at any time. There are some of the tips that I talked about as well. And they're actually a lot longer than this, but that kind of gives you a glimpse into the eChef Club. Part of we talked about the Facebook group, such a great group, and so many amazing questions in that group from experienced business owners that you can learn from. Such a safe place to ask those questions and be really vulnerable. Some of the experts we've interviewed, you can see them right there on the screen, anywhere from Larry Lynch, president of the USPCA, from a lot of you guys know Monica Thomas, some of you guys don't, but really seasoned business owners that offer really valuable information. So basically, the choices are yours. You can do nothing and keep running your business kind of in the dark or struggling and letting it run you, or you can take the time and the money to do the research yourself, or you can simply join eChef Club, where we've already figured it out for you, because I've already struggled. A lot of the people on there have struggled and they have found a really great place so they don't have to struggle anymore. eChef Club is normally $69 a month, but it is $49 a month while we're on this call. And the bonus is you also get a one-on-one strategy session with me, which I normally charge about $125 for. But you get that as a result of joining eChef Club while we are on this call, and I am answering all the questions that I have, which I am about to do. So let me leave this up there for you. The link should also be in the chat section. Candace always puts that in there for me for you guys to click on, for those of you guys that want to join up. And remember, you can cancel at any time. We just need about 30 days notice, and it's $49 a month. Let me get to some of these questions. Tracy, are there slides for the webinar? Tracy, you asked that at the very beginning. I'm pretty sure that you've probably found them by now or was able to log in. So we're going to go to Chef Pamela. I know my target market and have a thriving business. What I need help with is how to get my current clients to refer me. They just don't. They feel awkward about it. Also, what type of marketing material should I use at a private school or country club? I've got several audiences, but just don't know what to put in front of them. So, Pam, that's great questions. How do you get your clients to refer you? Well, we have found out that we actually kind of have to give our clients permission to refer us. We have done different things in the past. We have offered them gift certificates, or well, not necessarily for money off, but maybe a free meal as a result of trying our service, so that they can then pass it along to somebody else that might need their service, our service. We then also will send out a reminder. I think we do it twice a year. And it's just a simple email that says, we thank you for being such a valuable customer, and we know that you love our food, and the best compliment in the world is if you could refer us. Please pass this along to anyone that you think might need our service. And for anybody that signs up as a result of you, we will give you X. Maybe it's a free dinner. Maybe it's a whole personal chef service. Maybe it's a small catering. Maybe it's a cooking class. Like I said, free toffee. Whatever that is for you. I'm going to tell you that referrals are either given very easily, or clients like to keep you a secret. And that's just kind of a phenomenon that we've run across. But you have to give them permission to refer you, and you also have to tell them to refer you.
Deb, I just wanted to add real quick. Research has shown the more specific you are about kind of who you refer, the more likely they're going to refer if you make it really easy. So we actually give them ideas, like maybe a friend, a coworker, a neighbor, someone who goes to your church. We name off kind of some ideas to get their creative juices flowing, and maybe, help them think of who they might refer a little bit better. I want to make it easy.
Yeah, we actually say, we have a few spots open right now. We know you're enjoying our service, but if you know of another friend or family member that can enjoy our service, please pass this along to them. Examples of the clients we serve are busy families, single professionals, elderly clients that would like to stay at home longer, people with special dietary needs. That usually gets them kind of thinking a little bit. So thank you for adding that, Candace. You also said, what type of marketing material should I use at a private school or a country club? It's kind of like whatever they allow you to use. If you can somehow get into their newsletter to write an article about healthy after-school snacks, or how to teach children to make simple meals in the kitchen, or maybe it's around fitness food. Just see if first of all, if they have some type of newsletter that you're able to go into, or most private schools and country clubs also have galas and some type of charity events to raise money. Anything that you can do to be a part of that as well, where you're actually seen and heard, like on a stage, Maybe you have to give away a small personal chef service in order to get on stage. But you may also meet with the concierge there or the director and find out about doing cooking classes for moms during the summer while their kids are doing different things at the country club, just to kind of fill that time for the moms. Um, Candace, if you will go ahead and put my phone number to the office in the chat section so that if you guys have follow-up questions after this is over, you guys can call. Candace, put my email there too so that you guys are more than welcome to email. This is a question from Derek. If you're not a marketing expert, where can you go to find someone to do your marketing research to help you get your target market when you're just starting out? Candace, you want to answer that?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's really great that you want to hire someone to help you because doing that initial research can actually be a lot of work. But I would suggest using Upwork, upwork.com. And there's a lot of marketing and digital marketing freelancers who will do projects for you. And they cost, pretty much you can set the price and budget for your project and they'll bid on it. So yeah, it's a great way to find freelancers who can help you with little projects here and there.
Yeah. The other thing that you guys may want to consider is internships.com. A lot of college graduates, as well as people in college, have to do internships. And so they actually go on there looking for people that need help with, and a lot of times they are marketing people, either for free or for payment, to help you with your marketing to get you started, different things like that. Upwork is a great place, as well as what Candace mentioned, and then internships.com. I know of a few chefs who have found some chefs' assistants while they were going through culinary school on there as well. So, Chef Pamela Ann from the Chicago area again. I'm considering adding an assistant so I don't have to turn away so many requests. Advice on finding an assistant, what to pay them, non-compete. Thank you so much. This is very helpful. Finding an assistant is probably one of the harder positions to hire for because they become kind of the face of your company. They are someone who is going to take your first phone call, somebody who is going to talk to a client about an invoice, possibly set up catering, possibly package up your food product and send it out. So the first place to look is ask around on Facebook. Tell people what you're looking for and have your friends help to find them. We found a great assistance on Upwork. Craigslist, I haven't had much luck with that, but I know people that have had. There is another website called goodfoodjobs.com where people in the food industry and sometimes assistants will go there and apply to include culinary people as well. What to pay them is really what's based upon your particular area. I know you're in Chicago. I don't really know necessarily the cost of housing there, but I can say the national average for assistants with a little bit of experience is somewhere between 15 to 18, maybe even up to $20 an hour. Absolutely have them sign a non-compete and a non-disclosure. Those are super important. You can download generic ones off the internet. I think that's all the questions that we have. Candace put everything in the chat section that you guys need to know.
The chat section is just right underneath the handouts for those who don't know.
Right. And if you guys, as far as eChef Club, we are actually going to keep this promotion up running for about another 15 minutes after I end the webinar for you guys to join at $49 a month with all of that information and no more struggles or anything like that anymore for you guys. And my contact information is there. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out. And I don't see any more questions in the section. I think I covered them all. Thank you guys so much for being on the webinar today, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.